right below your work for number 13, we're going to go ahead and take our final round of notes. We're going to call this level 3, okay? And we're actually going to, so I could go a lot of places with level 3, make these equations a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, but I'm actually going to choose to focus on a really specific format of the equation. And the reason is there's a special format in the equation, just like we have like a slope-intercept form was y equals mx plus b, and standard form was ax plus by equals c. Those are for a line. This is called, this is called vertex form of a quadratic equation, okay? And this is not really something that you need to know right now, but I just want to explain to you why. You're going to see a bunch of equations that look very similar for this last round, for this last level 3, and it's because I'm focusing on equations that have this format because they become really important later. So if we just get comfortable with them now, then later we'll find ourselves kind of like, oh, like a little bit ahead, like, oh, I already understand this, even though I haven't really seen it before. Okay, so it looks something like this. Okay, now you notice here there's a y, the y's in front. Don't worry about it. This is vertex form of a quadratic. We're not really learning about it right now, but you will see that each equation will have like parentheses with x plus or minus a number here, and then a number being multiplied and a number being added, right? So you're going to kind of see this form of an equation for this video and the last round of practice questions. So here is what we do. See this parentheses with the squared? I want that by itself, because once I get that by itself, then this is just like level 2, right? So once I get this by itself, it's kind of like just a level 2 question. So I want to get that by itself, and what you can kind of do is just pretend like, let's say this said 3n plus 9 equals 57, and I wanted to get n by itself. Well, what would I do first? Well, I'd subtract 9 from both sides, right? So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to subtract 9. Here's the equal sign. So I'm subtracting 9 from both sides of the equation, right, from both sides of the equal sign. So this is 9 minus 9, which is 0, which I don't need to write. And 57 minus 9 is 48. Okay, now what am I going to do? So now I have something like, remember, I want this by itself, this x minus 5 squared, I want it by itself. So now I have like something like this. Right? I subtracted 9 from both sides, now I have this. Well, how would I get n by itself? How would I get this by itself? It's being multiplied by 3. Well, I would divide 3. So that's what I'm going to do here, right? This thing that I want by itself, which is, I want the thing that's squared by itself, and it's being multiplied by something, so I'm going to divide. And I get this. Okay, and now what I have is a level 2 problem. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and square root both sides, and I end up with x minus 5, right? Because the square root and the square, they cancel each other, so they're gone. And I square root this other side, and I get plus or minus 4. And so here's where I'm going to split it into my two equations, right? Because the square root of 16 could be negative 4. And I'm a little bit running out of space here, but it's okay. Or it could be positive 4. So now, when I add 5 to both sides, I get x equals negative 4 plus 5 is the same as 5 minus 4 is 1. Okay, and then plus 5 plus 5. I get x equals 9. So my lesser x is 1 and my greater x is 9. Okay, let's look at one more example. Okay, and again, you're going to notice the format is kind of the same. I have a number. It's multiplied by x plus or minus something. That whole thing is squared. And then there's a number being added or subtracted. Okay, so here's another example. Okay, notice I have some more negatives in this one. Does that make it a little bit more challenging? Use a calculator if you struggle with the negatives, it's okay, right? But we still need to do the same thing. We need to get this by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is, well, this 10 is just being subtracted, so I'm going to do the opposite of subtraction. I'm going to add. Okay, so I'm going to bring down everything else. Okay, now that 10, right, this negative 10 plus 10, that's 0, so I don't write anything. Negative 190 plus 10 is negative 180. Okay, now, remember, my goal is to get this part, the parentheses squared, by itself. So right now it's being multiplied by negative 5, so I'm going to divide by negative 5. I'm dividing by negative 5 because it's being multiplied by negative 5. So I get x plus 7 squared equals negative divided by negative is positive. 180 divided by 5 is 36. Okay, and now I'm to my level 2 question. I see that I have this junk squared. I'm going to try to get rid of the squared by square rooting. So that cancels out the exponent. And then this is plus or minus 6. So that means x plus 7 could equal negative 6, or x plus 7 could equal positive 6. So when I subtract 7 from both sides, over here I get x equals negative 13. And over here I get x equals negative 1. Okay, and just be careful, right? When you have two negatives, sometimes we get them mixed up. But this is the lesser answer, right? Negative 13 is less than negative 1. Because if you owe someone $13, oof, that's not good, right? You'd rather owe someone $1 than 13. Okay, so there are my two examples. They're kind of long, so if you need to kind of pause right here and copy it neatly so you have that as a reference, feel free to do that. Okay, but we have 6 more practice questions, and you're going to squeeze them in on page 31. So you'll just go ahead and like set up 15, 16, okay? Something like this, okay? And that'll be the end of the assignment. Okay, remember to ask for help if you need it.